What's up, everybody? Jed Johnson here from DieselCrew.com. Of course, you know they call me Napalm. This is a response video to, actually, it's the number 10 or 11 podcast, the Kliq This podcast. So it's Kevin Nash and Sean Oliver. And incidentally, if you like wrestling podcasts and you haven't checked these guys out yet, it's a great time. It's really awesome. It's probably my favorite one right now. I feel bad for waiting so long to start watching it, but at the same time, I wish I almost would have waited longer because I'm watching them one after the other, and they're kind of short. They're only like an hour, hour and a half, and I'm going through them real quick, so I know I'm going to end up running out of them. But anyway, they talked about this workout program that Shane Douglas kind of described for Sean Oliver years ago, and he said it worked real well for him. But then Nash responds with kind of how he looks at it. So it's about how to train when you're older for weight loss. So kind of the gist of it was, Douglas kind of talked about going in and doing weight training and keeping the percentages low. So not always trying to break your one rep max or anything, but go in there and get work done with the emphasis on building muscle. And I totally agree with that. And Nash, I don't know if it was in this particular podcast, but in the past he talked about how he was enjoying being able to, hit shoulders or hit back and just feel so good and not feel beat up, which I think is the way pretty much everybody should train. That's totally how I train now. So I'm not nearly as worried about putting big numbers up overhead or deadlifting a ton of weight or squatting a lot of weight. I'm more interested in working 3-rep max level strength, and if it comes to trying a 1-rep max sometime, then cool, but it's not anything that I'm always working on all the time. And I think the good thing about that is you're able to look at it in terms of longevity, being able to train and enjoy your training for decades. So I think that's definitely the way to go. It seems to be that's how Nash trains now. He's going in there, getting good workouts, and feeling good afterwards, not being beat up, things like that. So the point of contention was the cardio. So Shane Douglas talked about doing cardio that was real intense, getting your heart rate way up, and talked about how demanding that is and how tough it is for older guys to train that way, to do cardio that way, and then recover from it. Then Nash came in and said, well, I don't know why he's talking about going so high intensity. Like Ronnie Coleman used to do steady state cardio for 2 hours, I think is what he said. So he gets in there and does stuff I think he said an hour or something like that when he does cardio and wants to burn fat. So that's really the main thing I wanted to talk about with this video, because I know there's a lot of people that watch that every time I talk about doing cardio or something, or getting in better shape, really, they talk about the need to lose fat. So this is how I would approach it. If anyone is watching this video and wants to lose fat, you got to look at it as calories, not just targeting fat. So lower intensity cardio burns more fat, or at least burns more calories while you're doing the cardio. And it'll target more fat that way because it's a low intensity and you're going to use fat for the fuel source. At least that's my understanding. So when I first started doing cardio, I was doing steady state cardio in the morning, and I was doing it fasted. So that means I hadn't eaten yet. So the idea was you would burn calories that are stored on your body, and hopefully that would be in the form of fat. Now with higher intensity cardio, you don't necessarily burn as much fat during that cardio, but when you're done, because you've revved your metabolism up so high and you've agitated your body to such a high degree, you end up burning calories for a long time afterwards. So you kind of have two choices. You can go in there and do cardio for an hour. I was doing 45 minutes of steady state walking, okay? Or you could go in there and maybe knock out 10 minutes of high intensity cardio, which is what I do now. So in the past, it was walking on the road and in a fasted state, but it was very low intensity, just walking. These days, the majority of my cardio is much higher intensity. So today and yesterday, I did heavy bag hitting, and it's only about 8-10 minutes, to be honest with you, but really that's all the time that I have in my day most times to get that in. But like it's been it's been over a little over 2 hours since I did it, and I can still feel that like my temperature hasn't come down all the way, my heart rate's still up a little bit. So you get that post exercise oxygen consumption, it's called EPOC, and it continues to burn calories for a long time. So depending on how much time you have available, you can kind of make a choice. If you have more time available, then you can do that steady state cardio and you can benefit from it in that way. If you're busy and you don't have a lot of time in your schedule for cardio, then you can really ratchet the intensity up and then utilize that EPOC for burning more calories. But you want to look at it as, weight loss is all, for most people, you can generalize it as you want to consume fewer calories than you're burning. That way, maybe you're going to burn some of the fat that's already on your body, but if you're operating at that deficit where you're burning more than you're consuming, then overall, you're not going to be storing as much fat on your body because it's going to be burned. So you want to think of it as an economy for calories burned. That's how you want to look at it. All right, that's what I would suggest. But first and foremost, when I've lost 30 pounds over the last about year and a half. So I started July 1st of 2021, and I'm down about 30 pounds. And the first and foremost thing you have to do is get your diet in check. If you're eating like shit and it just doesn't matter what kind of training you do and what kind of cardio you do, you gotta be more reasonable with your diet. You have to make sensibility changes in the way that you eat. Okay? So that's first. Get your eating in check first. Next, do cardio, and you got those two choices based on how much time you have. And then you want to consistently, at least 3 times a week, I would say, do some kind of strength training. So what Shane Douglas suggested is doing each body part twice a week. And that's cool because what you're doing is you're doing everything over and over and over. It's kind of a full body workout, so that helps you burn a lot of calories too. And it helps you work all the muscles thoroughly. So that is a good way to go about it. I'll do an upper, lower, upper. So 3 days a week I do body training. Monday's upper, Wednesday's lower, Friday's upper again. That's another way you can do it. You can do it just about any way you want to, but you want to make sure that you're engaging your body in resistance training for sure. Don't just do cardio. So I hope this is helpful. And if so, give it one of these. Be sure to subscribe and check out that Kliq This podcast because it's a great time, especially if you're a wrestling fan. All the best in your training, everybody. Take care.